Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the what and the how series of UiPath. For those of you who are looking this series for the first time, in this series I try to answer to the question which I receive in the comments of YouTube, over the Instagram or over my email. To have a look into the previous videos of the playlist, I have put all the playlist link in the description. You can have a quick reference. And in case you are looking to the channel for the first time, I will request you to please subscribe to the channel to get the latest update. Now coming to this video. So I have received this email where someone says I need some help. He says that I am a subscriber and he loves all the videos I upload. So he has a file name which looks something like this, 552 underscore week 22 underscore ty. So this is seems like to be the name of the file, and he wants to update the number by 1 every time the automation runs. So if you notice here, the input should be 552 week 22. When we run the automation for the first time, it should be 552 week 23. And when we run it again, it should get 24, 25, 27 and so on, right? So this is a plain case of string manipulation. We can do it in various different ways. Today I am going to show you one of the easy way, and I am going to explain you that how you can do it in a step-by-step manner, right? So for that, let us get started by going to the UiPath Studio. So this is our solution where we do all the automations for the what and how series. I'll go here and I create a new sequence. I'll call this sequence as the string manipulation and hit create. Okay. My sequence is ready. So the first thing what I'm going to do is, let's say we have got this input in a string variable, right? We can get the file name and all those bits. So let's say I have got finally this string variable, which is this one, right? So I will go to the activities. I'll take assign activity here. I'll go and in the properties, I'll say that this is nothing but my input. So I'll write here input. Now hit Control plus K to create a variable. I call it str underscore input. And in this input, I am simply going to assign the value whichever I have received. So the value which is I have is 552 underscore week 22. So I'll go here and write 552 underscore week. Let me validate week 22 underscore ty. Okay, so it's something like this underscore ty. Okay, so this is the input which we have got, and now we would just want to increment it to 23. Now what would be the thing which we would be doing? So for that, I'm going to explain it to you the logic first, so that when we do the logic in UiPath Studio, you guys understand what exactly is this. Okay, so this is my input which I have received, 522 underscore week 22 underscore ty. As of now, this complete thing is available in a single string variable. Now I am interested in only this bit, which is the 22. Now if you closely notice this string, it is separated by an underscore. So if I have to do something on this string, which is this part of the string, that is week 22, first I would need to split this string into different parts, which means that I would split it something like this. 552 would be my one string. My week 22 would be my second string, and ty would be my third string. So one string has to be split into different string. When we actually split the string into 3 different parts, this would be actually stored in a array of string. So the first thing is we want to split this thing into an array of string. How do I split? I split it with the help of an underscore. When I split this into an array of string, an array is having an index. So this guy, which is the first one, it has an index of 0. This has an index of 1 and this has an index of 2. So I hope you understand till this point that first we have to split the string into an array of string, create different string, And for our requirement, I am only interested in this one, which is the week 22, which is the first index. Now, if you simply notice here, if I only want 22 out of this string, what could I do? One easy way which I could see here, if I just replace this week, or I just replace this week with nothing, right? Replace this week variable. So I would be only remained with the integer variable. So from the week 22, we will replace week. So I would be only remaining with the value 22. Fine. Now once I receive the 22, what I have to do? The next step is you have to add 1 to the 22 and you make it 23. Once you have the 23 number with you, again you have to get it back into the string variable. So what I'll do is, whatever you have in the first number, which was 552 underscore, then you write week, then you write this number which is 23, and then you follow by an underscore and you write ty. So this would be my final string, and this is nothing but our output. So these are the 4 steps what we are going to perform. Step number 1, 2, 3 and step number 4, right? I'll quickly repeat. We have a string, we'll divide it into 3 different parts. From this part we will split, we'll replace this week with something else and I can get an 22. We can follow any other method also. You can just get the last 2 variables or last 3 variables. You can do anything, right? So for us, an easy way, I'll just replace this with the remaining one would be the number, add a number, and then once you have everything, attach it back, or I would say append it back, concatenate it back to get the final output or the final string, right? So this is the same thing what we are going to do in the UiPath Studio. Okay, so till this point I have this input variable which is a string, right? So here it is in a string variable called str input. Now the next thing is we have to split it into a array of string. So I'll quickly go to the variables first. Go here and I'll create a variable which I call as string array. How do I create a string array? Go to the variable type. Here you select array of, and in the T I simply select the string. Hit OK and my string array is created. Now to split the value, I'll again go here, take an assign activity. Just after this, it is asking me where do you want to assign. So I want to fill the string array. And in here, just go to the properties. This is the good practice you should follow, that I am assigning it for the string array. Now I'll go here, open it in the advanced editor. And here I'll simply specify string input dot split. So this is a function of string manipulation which actually allow us to split the string as per the separator we specify. Okay, so I'll select this option dot split. Now if I put a bracket, if you see here, it is asking me to provide a character by which you want to split. So if you remember, this is my input and we have to split it by an underscore. So the same thing will come in here in double quotes, underscore. It's a single character, so I simply write it here C and I hit OK. Now I have instructed UiPath to split my input string by an underscore like this and put it into a string array. So that means we are done till this point, right? String, this part is completed. Now whenever I am doing a string manipulation, it would have splitted in 0, 1 and 2. I am interested in the second one, which is week 22, right? So that means the string array index number 1. So let's try to quickly go and try to use in a right line, right? I want to show you guys what exactly is the output. So I go to string array and simply write it here, array of 1, right? Let's save this, go here and say run the file. Automation completed. If I go to the output, you could see that I am getting the week 22 in the output, right? Week 22 is coming in the output. So that means that it is behaving as per our requirement. Okay. Now, out of this week 22, now what I have to do is, if you remember, let's go back from the week 22. If we just omit this word of week, we are only remained with this variable which is called 22. Okay. So let me quickly go here and I'll take one more assign activity, right? We can do everything in a single line also, but let's try to understand that what is the logic, right? So I'll create a new variable, and this variable I'll call at, let's say, the control plus k str underscore second element. So that is the second element. And where is the second element? I'll just copy and paste it here. From the string array, get me the index of 1, and that would be your second element. Now from the second element, you just replace it, right? So I just go here and take one more assign activity, and I simply tell that whatever you have in the second element, right? Let me just open an advanced editor. Whatever you have in the second element, just replace. Okay, just replace. Now it is asking me, what do you want to replace? So if I go here, you would notice that in my input, the thing which I want to replace it, week. Now it is asking me, what do you want to replace it with? So I put a comma and the new value, right? If you see here, it's coming in bold, which is asking me, give me the new value. My new value is blank. I just want to simply omit the week. That's it. And the output is again getting stored in the second element. Now if I run this automation, my second element would have a value of 22, right? So now what is the next thing? I have got this value 22 in the variable. Now I have to simply add 1 to this value, right? So let me go here and take one more assign activity. Okay. And this time I'll create a new variable. I'll call this as integer underscore new counter. And this is an integer for me, right? Because number. So here I say that my new counter would be add 1 to this value, right? In the second element only. So I go to the properties, go here, and I say that str second element plus 1. But now it is giving me an error. It is saying you cannot add the number with a string because this is a string. So I am telling UiPath that first you convert this thing. So how do I convert? It's absolutely simple. I write here convert dot to int 32. I am telling UiPath whatever value I am getting in the variable, which is this str second element, you convert that value to an integer and then you simply add 1. I'll hit OK and that's it, right? So this I'll get here a new number. So I just say that increment by 1. Okay. So I hope you understand till this point that what we are trying to do. We have got the new number, but just to quickly validate, I'll use a write line here and let's try to print the new counter. Okay. And I'll write dot to string because it's a number and we are printing. So I'll write to string here. Okay. Save this, go here and run the file. If everything works well, we should get 23 as an output, right? That is the new counter. Let me go to the output and yes, we are getting 23. That means we are able to get till this stage. That means I am able to get 23 dynamically, right? Now what is the next thing? The next thing is I have to add everything and get us the final output string, right? So for that, let me go to the variables here and I'll create a new variable. I'll call this as str underscore output and this would be a string, right? In the output variable, I want to get the final output. I'll go to the activities, take the assign activity again, and in here, just write str output. Now, what should I write in the output string? Okay, let's try to see in the notepad here. So in the output first, I should be having a value of 552. Now where exactly was 552? It's in the array in the index of 0. So I go here and I write string array, right? In the index of 0, whatever you have, you just keep it there. So I have got this 552. I have to append it with now an underscore. So I'll hit a plus string in the double quotes. I'll put underscore. So that will give me 552 underscore. After that, I have to again add something. What I have to add? I have to add the week word. So I'll go here and I write week. Now, after this week, I have to add the new counter, which is 23, and 23 is stored in the variable of the new counter, right? So I'll go here, I put a plus and I say whatever you have in the new counter, just add it to the week, and I say dot toString because we want to print it and the final would be a string. So str0, this value 552, week followed by the 23. Till this point we are done. Then we want to have an underscore again. So I'll go here, hit a plus, put a underscore again. After that, what is the last thing? The last thing is I want to have this ty, and this ty is stored in the array index 2. So I'll go here and I simply write string array and whatever you have in the second variable. That's it. So my output is ready. I'll go to the properties and say that this is my output. Okay. So this completes my automation. To finally check the automation, let me create two write lines. Write line 1, I say here that the input was, I'll just hit a plus and write str input. The same thing, I'll do a control C, control V, okay, control C and a control V, yep. And here I would say that the output now is nothing but your str output. Okay, so this is done. Now if I run this automation, it should go and it should give me the proper input and the output, right? Let's try to save this. Go here and I say run the file. If I go to the output now, you would notice that the input which we have given was 552 underscore week 22 underscore ty, and the output which I am getting is 552 underscore week 23 underscore ty, right? Now when you run it for the next time, this variable you will get dynamically. So this variable, let's say now have a value of anything, right? Let me put some any random number, 245, any number it might come, right? So if I go here and I say run the file, it would again go take the number, increment it and give you the output, right? So let's see the output. The input was 552 underscore week 245. Now the output is 552 underscore week 246, right? Now that is the way I was actually able to complete this automation and using 245, 246, right? Now it does not depend. Whatever you might get here, you can simply go and replace it, will increment the number. Now, if I have to do it in a real-time automation, what are the things I would need to consider here? The things which I need to consider here is that this week might get changed. It might have some other values, right? So this week we want to consider and put it in a config file. You can always use a link queue to do all this replacement and everything, right? You can always write a different logic to do all of these things. But this example was to demonstrate that what exactly would be the logic that you can do here. Once you understand this logic, you can do this complete thing in a single string also, right? You do not need to create multiple variables. Everything can be done in a single line, right? But the objective here was to tell you guys that what exactly would be the logic, right? So I hope now you understand that how can I get the input and the output in the string, right? So that was all for this video. I would like to wrap this video here. If you have any other question on this part, you can always drop me a comment, or you can always drop me an email as well. Or if you have any other problem or anything which you want to discuss in this series, or any live conversation on the topic of UiPath, feel free to drop me an email or a note on the comments. Having said that, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and happy automation.